This video is long and boring. Timestamps for each character are in the description. Some characters have low overhead mix-ups on the first hit. Generally when blocking in neutral, you should crouch block by default and stand on reaction. First hit low overhead mix-ups will not be covered in this video. Some low overhead mix-ups have 30 or more frames of startup. They will not be covered in this video. Last thing, this video took a long time to put together. If you found it useful, please consider liking and subscribing. Shang tsung. Third variation, back 1-2 is an 18 frame overhead, back 1 back forward 4 is a 20 frame low. Shao kahn. First variation, 1-4-2 is a 28 frame overhead, 1-4 back down 4 is a 26 frame low. First variation, forward 2-4 is a 28 frame overhead, forward 2 back down 4 is a 26 frame low. Frost. First variation, 2-2-3 is a 19 frame low, 2-2 back forward 4 is a 25 frame overhead. First variation, 3-4-4 is a 14 frame low, 3 back forward 4 is a 25 frame overhead. Nightwolf. Third variation, 1-1-2 is a 22 frame overhead, 1-1 back forward 4 is a 26 frame low. Third variation, 3-1-2 is a 18 frame overhead, 3-1 back forward 4 is a 26 frame low. Sonya blade. Back 1-2 is an 18 frame overhead, back 1-4 is a 17 frame low, back 1 back forward 4 is a 17 frame low. Back 2-3-4 is a 25 frame overhead, back 2-3 down 3 is a 22 frame low, back 2-3 back forward 4 is a 17 frame low. Briggs. Forward 2-1 is an 18 frame overhead, forward 2 down 4 is an 11 frame low. First variation, back forward 2-4 is a 29 frame overhead, back forward 2L1 is a 12 frame low. Second variation, 2-2-1 and 3 is a 16 frame overhead, 2-2 down 4 is an 11 frame low. scorpion. Third variation, down back 1 2 is a 19 frame overhead, down back 1 amplify is a 26 frame overhead, down back 1 4 is a 13 frame low, down back 1 down amplify is a 21 frame low. Once more, but with only the amplified variants. Noob saibot. First variation, 1 1 2 is a 26 frame overhead, 1 1 back forward 3 is an 18 frame low. Baraka. Third variation, 1 2 2 is a 23 frame overhead, 1 2 back forward 4 is an 18 frame low. Third variation, back 3 1 2 is a 20 frame overhead, back 3 1 back forward 4 is an 18 frame low. Kabal. First variation, back 1 2 is a 16 frame overhead, back 1 down back 1 is a 27 frame low. First variation, forward 2 2 4 is a 22 frame overhead, forward 2 2 down back 1 is a 27 frame low. First variation, forward 4 1 and 3 is a 21 frame overhead, forward 4 down back 1 is a 27 frame low. Second variation, back 1 2 is a 16 frame overhead, back 1 back forward 2 is a 15 frame low. Second variation, forward 2 2 4 is a 22 frame overhead, forward 2 2 back forward 2 is a 15 frame low. Second variation, forward 4 1 and 3 is a 21 frame overhead, forward 4 back forward 2 is a 15 frame low. Kang. Third variation, down back 4 1 is a 7 frame overhead, down back 4 3 is a 12 frame low. Kitana. Third variation, back 2 3 1 down 2 is a 27 frame overhead, back 2 3 1 down back 1 is a 14 frame low. Third variation, forward 2 3 4 is a 19 frame overhead, forward 2 3 down back 1 is a 14 frame low. Jade. First variation, back 1 2 is a 21 frame overhead, back 1 down back 3 is a 20 frame low. First variation, forward 2 1 is a 25 frame overhead, forward 2 down back 3 is a 20 frame low. Third variation, back 1 2 is a 21 frame overhead, back 1 down back 3 is a 23 frame low. Third variation, forward 2 1 is a 25 frame overhead, forward 2 down back 3 is a 23 frame low. Third variation, back 2 1 2 4 is a 4 frame or less overhead, back 2 1 2 down back 3 is a 23 frame low. Erron black. 2 1 2 1 2 is a 17 frame overhead, 2 1 2 back forward 3 is a 21 frame low. Back 2 2 2 is a 23 frame overhead, back 2 2 back forward 3 is a 21 frame low. Devourer. Third variation, 4 4 is a 17 frame low, 4 down back 4 is a 15 frame overhead. Third variation, back 3 4 is a 16 frame low, back 3 down back 4 is a 15 frame overhead. The Terminator. First variation, 1 2 3 is a 13 frame low, 1 2 back forward 4 is a 28 frame overhead. First variation, 2 1 2 is a 22 frame overhead, 2 1 back forward 3 is a 22 frame low. First variation, forward 3 2 is a 20 frame overhead, forward 3 back forward 3 is a 22 frame low. Geras. 1 1 1 is a 21 frame overhead, 1 1 down back 1 is a 17 frame low. Two 4 1 is a 23 frame overhead, 2 4 down back 1 is a 17 frame low. Kollector. Forward 1 2 down 1 is a 20 frame low, forward 1 2 down 2 is a 21 frame overhead. Sindel. First variation, forward 2-1 down 2 is a 19 frame low, forward 2-1 down back 4 is a 21 frame overhead. First variation, back 3-4 is a 15 frame low, back 3 down back 4 is a 21 frame overhead. Third variation, back 3-4-4 is a 21 frame overhead, back 3-4 back forward 3 is a 21 frame low. Cetrion. First variation, 2-1-3 is a 22 frame overhead, 2-1 down 3 is a 22 frame low. First variation, forward 2-3-4 is a 19 frame overhead, forward 2-3 down 3 is a 22 frame low.